Howdy folks, this is Scott Grove, Dr. Groovy, GroovyMusicLessons.com with Ask Scott Grove Anything, Season Dos, and Episode 8. Okay, if anything looks different, I'll explain this for people who remember certain things. Anyway, yeah, this is a different camera. It was given to me in a trade that I made. And I've just got it set on the settings that it came here with, because I honestly don't know how to operate cameras, but he did send me a disc that has all the instructions on it, but you know guys and instructions. So if this doesn't turn out to everybody's satisfaction, let me know and I'll go in and make changes or whatever, and you guys that do know how to operate cameras can suggest different things. I did put a 32 gig SD card in here and formatted it and just put everything as far as that goes on the highest possible quality video settings that I could find in the menu just by doing it. So let me know how it looks. I'd appreciate it. Before we get started, speaking of the same guy who, all I did was I swapped him one of my hard drives of all my lessons, and he sent this camera. The guy has to be a total saint. He still wants to keep giving away guitars to people and stuff. If you remember a while back, the same person donated a guitar and wanted me to give it to a needy kid out there. And after all of this time, I'm thinking, I can't promise anything, that I may have found one, and the guy will remain anonymous. I will remain anonymous. I'll still find a way to videotape the exchange if I can, and I really want to, but I'm not going to give anybody, I'm not going to tell him my real name. I'll probably have to give that to somebody just in case, they come looking for me for some reason, if a string breaks and pokes his eye out or anything. But, it's really hard to, I can't believe how hard it's been going from hospitals to churches and just other places, different clinics and stuff, trying to find, just a kid that really could use this stuff, and for free, 100%. But the guitar that the guy had sent, if you guys remember, was this Fender here that he had, and I still haven't plugged it in all this time. This is only the second time it's even been out of the box. But, and he stuck a humbucker in here, put everything new in, all new wiring. This puppy's ready to go. I mean, like I said, I haven't plugged it in, but he's got, this thing is gorgeous. I'm sitting here blowing off the, what do you call that stuff, styrofoam. And then there was another person who had sent, and I never divulged their name either, and you've never seen this. There was a time back when I was opening some stuff that was just given to me for trades, and then this showed up too. I'll just show it to you. I will not tell you where it's from, but this is the only other thing that I accepted that somebody sent. Yes, it's a power supply. And I'm not going to let you guys know because it doesn't matter. It's just going to a good person, and then I want the other person to know. Hopefully they're still watching and they know that I haven't forgot anything. It's just been sitting here just waiting for the one person, and it's all going to one person. I'm going to toss in an amplifier and some cables and one of my flash drives or my hard drives, with all my lessons too, and just make a whole big pile of it. But this here was also donated in the gig bag, perfect, brand new, all that. You're like, what is that? This, my friends, there's the book to it. the manual. But, and again, this isn't my stuff, so I haven't even turned it on. I will check everything before I actually go make these changes just to make sure it works. But what a great looking unit, huh? So, there you go. And everything, every connection in the world on back, you know, all your MIDI stuff and everything. So this is the Digitech GNX2. So GenX 2 guitar processor with, I mean, everything in the world on it. I would probably love these two. I love a lot of the Digitech stuff. So I may look into getting me one. But this one is going with that guitar, and hopefully that person, like I said, has been found. But I generally get treated just exactly like a lot of you guys do if you actually resemble me in any way, shape, or form. And just meaning if you're a person who has longer hair than most, or facial hair. So basically, if you look like Jesus in any way, shape, or form, then all the religious people are going to bash you and walk up and down the aisles of Walmart and make sure you're not stealing anything. So when it's just, you know how it is. It's just that way, and it's sad. It's like, yeah, everybody goes to worship a guy that looks like me every Sunday or Saturdays or Wednesdays or whenever they care to. But as soon as they leave that church, I mean, they'll judge me if I'm sitting in one of the pews, you know, with my wife or something, just because I look like the guy with the nails in my appendages. But it has been that way. Every place I've tried to find a kid that could use this stuff. I just want to see this through and make these kind people who have offered this stuff. I never thought that giving away something would ever be so hard, but it is. Everybody looks at me and they're like, no thank you, no thank you, and then I basically get the door slammed at every charity type thing that I try to go to. And most won't give me the time of day to even explain what I'm trying to do there, so it's the world we live in. Okay, let's see if we can go ahead and start answering some questions here on part 8. It's been a really weird, busy weekend for me. I won't go into it, but wow. I don't want another one of those. And you guys did see that the band went out and played where the where the wiener tree is again. If you guys didn't see it, you don't have to watch all the band videos, you know. I know that. I mean, who wants to sit through all that? Some people do. It's the only reason I keep putting them on is not for any other reason. I mean, I've never taken this much video of any bands, but it's for the 4 or 5 people who like watching this over and over again. And I'm more than happy to film any little bits that I can for you. But if you go to the latest video where we were in, I guess this would be October, I think it was 3rd and 4th were the days. But it'll say Most Wanted, and then the word Entrada, E-N-T-R-A-D-A. Okay, so if you look for that, or even the Avatar just has the band name Most Wanted. It's the only band video that has that. But if you go into the last 15 or 20 seconds of the video, you can see me revisiting the penis tree. And it's still there, man. Nobody's broke it, and it's been there for years, and beautiful thing. Okay, so I'm going to start where I left off. For anybody that knows how all this works, please turn to page 69 in your hymnals. Okay, we're actually down here where Dan Garland is the name. Let me make sure that I didn't miss any on the other ones. We're in the right place. And I just looked at it, and I'm not going to know how to answer this in a great way, but I'll do my best, because it's just kind of weird, you know. It's just, in my opinion, weirded, kind of strange for me to be able to give Dan a proper answer. If anybody else can or has a clue, because, you know, one thing I usually don't have is a clue. Okay, Dan writes, I know you're not a huge fan of drop tunings, but how would you EQ a 4-string bass tuned A, E, A, D? So he's just basically, you know, doing the 5-string thing, eliminating the G string, and then throwing on what would normally be a B string on the bottom, you know, like a 5-string, but just tuning it down to a drop A on that. So, but he's asking how I would EQ the bass. Well, EQing is totally up to you, and it's all going to depend on a whole lot of things. Number one, you're really going to have to, you know, of course, adjust your truss rod correct on that thing, because you're going to have some good tension on there. But to register that low A note, you're going to just have to have an amplifier that can deal with it. And then you don't say what kind of music you play, and I haven't clicked on your avatar or anything and went to your page to see what kind of things you do or what you have been searching. So I don't know what kind of music you play, so I don't know if you like dead strings or if you like really live sounding funk string stuff, or if you are a country player or a metal player. So it all depends. But even when we get genre specific, the tones and the EQ, boy, that's going to really be up to you. And I don't know if it's an active bass, you know, active EQ or active pickups. Active pickups don't matter, but active EQ will. So it looks like you're just looking for those really low notes. So real quick, it's going to be whether you want it to sound low, rumbly, shake your pants type of thing, which is not my personal favorite, or if you want it to be a sound that is really bright and kind of annoying, kind of like Duff, you know, was from Guns N' Roses, you know, playing with the pick, and then had tons of high end in his bass, but always really brand spanking new live sounding strings. But you could just hear every it just sounded like he had nothing but 8-inch speakers and turned the bass completely off on his amplifier. So it kind of sounded, you know, more like a guitar than the other guitars did, except for it was extremely clean. But for you to make use of a low string, a B string that is going to be tuned down a whole step to A, and to make that really come out, the amp, or your cabinet, not the amp so much, but the cabinet is really going to have to be able to handle it. And it's just a matter of how much bottom end you're going to put in it, because it's generally not the speaker that has to handle it. It is the cabinet design has to handle it and be made for such things. And there are many amps out there that are designed for, strictly designed for extended range instruments, which is what you're getting into now. So you wouldn't need anything that's any different than what a 5-string bass could handle, but there are very few things that will handle a 5-string bass well. You know, sure, the note, you can hear the string kind of, but you can never differentiate the actual note a lot of the times. But if you get a amp that's specific for that, or of any really great quality, you should have no problem making that string come through. I like them just personally, just to kick me in the chest like a mule. You know, same with the kick drum. You know, the band I'm in, the bass player doesn't like that sound, and the drummer doesn't like that sound either. They want, you know, just this low end mess that's inaudible. You know, it's just this, you don't know what note is being hit. You know, so with that, you just keep cranking up bass and turning off treble. But EQing it, I hope you have like maybe a parametric EQ on your amp, or you might have like a notch filter or something. It's the same type of thing. It adds or subtracts a certain frequency, so you generally will turn this knob all the way up. I hope you have it. If not, check it out. And then it has a sweepable frequency, generally for mids, but that you can find a frequency that is either really annoying, you know, you turn it and it sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher, and if that annoys you, you get it right on that spot, and then you can dial that back past the indent and get rid of that noise. Or, in order to make that low A thing sound great, again, crank up the volume, and then here's the volume for that particular mid-range control. But you could actually put it to where it makes the low A string sound the best, and actually, you know, goose that part up, and then the rest of the bass you can EQ to sound great. But it's really going to take a lot to make that sound great. But without more information from you, my friend, that's about all I can do for you. But you're going to have to start with making sure that that low A is the sound you want. Get it EQ'd, and everything else should be pretty easy if you're, you know, used to EQing a bass amp, which is of course very easy. But getting that low A the way you want it and so forth is the key. If you have to, simply buy maybe a, you know, stomp box, you know, 10-band EQ or something, but buy one that's meant for a bass, because there are certain frequencies on there that will matter so much more on bass than they will guitar. And then again, there will be frequencies that you definitely with this tuning will never use that a guitar would. So get a bass specific, maybe equalizer pedal, and force it out of there. You know, just watch your gear so you don't blow your speakers, because some older stuff or cheaper stuff, they're just not meant to handle that. So just be careful with it. I know it was a long thing to go nowhere with it, but like I said, I really don't have enough information. But if you write to me, I'll try to clear it up. You know, if you tell me, you know, as more than you can, everything that I said I wish I knew, give me that and I'll try to help you out. Let's go to Chip Leach. Right above there, it says, "Hey Scott, what do you think about the hamburger I had from Hardee's last night?" That's great. Hardee's. Wow, I miss Hardee's, man. Out here, they don't have them. Here in Nevada, they have what is called Carl's Jr. It's the same thing. They're owned by the same people. Out here, we have Smith's Grocery instead of Kroger. You know, so you'll see, you know, the Kroger stamp on all of their generic or in-house brands. So I'm sure you probably know how the country works here. But yeah, I miss the name Hardee's, man. The hamburgers from Hardee's. It's been so long. When I go home, it's usually, you know, back to Indiana, back to the Midwest, where they have Hardee's. At least I usually go for the Steak and Shake and go there. But how was your hamburger? People are like, he's actually going to spend time thinking, pondering this question for real. I would imagine that it was great, man. It's just out here, when you go to Carl's Jr., I know it sounds stupid if you don't have Carl's Jr. there and you have Hardee's. Their slogan, and I don't know if Hardee's picked it up since they are the same company, is, "If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face." And they've got a really cool commercial right now for the Mile High Club. So it's cool. And you'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen that. If not, just go here on YouTube and look up Carl's Jr. Mile High Club commercial and just look at it. It's great advertising, but like I said, they're the same company. But man, I've never had a bad hamburger from either place, so I'm sure it was just fine. Okay, so do you think I should have ordered something different? No, I think you did good. Would it have been better without onions? No, pile the onions on. I thought it was the best hamburger ever but it would make me feel better if you think so too. So do you? Well, just like we got through here, yeah, I think it was. Well, just since you're back from that area, I'm thinking you might have, well, again, what we don't have out here, possibly you might have a White Castle instead of a Crystal Burgers or something like that. But it might be kind of cool to have taken like just a little bit, like half of a White Castle, and put it inside of your burger from Hardee's, just to have that little extra behind it. You know how those get. So you could always one-up it by that. And thanks for the question, Chip. Man, that's cool. It wasn't about music. I love that when it happens. Okay, let's go up to... This one's beautiful if you guys haven't seen it. I honestly don't know who it is. I haven't asked him yet. His screen name is Cult of Scott Grove. Shows a guy there in a robe, with a Catholic looking robe with a big cross or crucifix, whichever you want to call it, and some picture of my face somewhere along the lines with the fuzz on my face glued on there. So who he is, I honestly don't know. And this must have been answered around the time that I supposedly died. There are one question here, then he kind of answers himself under it, so I'll just read it and see what we have. It says, Master, you live. It says, hello, Scott. One of your, let's see. Oh, I didn't, where it says read more, I didn't unfold it, dude. I missed like 5 or 6 of these already. It says, one of your disciples is going to be moving to a different part of the country in the near future, and he would like to know, and then it says read more. I didn't click the read more so it would print. I'm sorry, dude, but right underneath it says, from him again, it says, Scott, going on my first question, would you be willing to make such a video if I paid more than your standard prices for the lesson? Okay, so I don't know what it is, and it's my screw up, man. I'm sorry, because I just didn't hit the button where it says read more, so I don't know what it is. I can still go back to it, of course. If you want to just resend it to me, because I'll never find it in the list. But I'm sorry, dude. I keep screwing people's stuff up, and I don't mean. Of course, I don't mean to. So throw it to me again, and I'll read it on another one on here. Speaking of reading one on here that somebody had asked me, somebody was asking about what's that thing that Marty promotes for whatever reason. It's a video game. Is it Guitar Smith or something? Rocksmith? Something, I don't know. Some video game that's supposed to teach you how to play actual guitar. And all I did was I just went right here and tried to find somebody that was not just a total moron, that did a good review of, I think Rocksmith was the name of it. They asked what I thought of it. Of course, I've never played such a thing. He did a really nice review of it. I have a link for it. If you want, you can ask. I would stick it just right here, but I may or I may not. We'll find out. If it's there, then there it is. If I didn't do it, I'm just pointing down for no reason. Of course, I'm never into things that suck. Well, of course, some things that suck are just fine and dandy. But it seems from the guy that I found that was the most knowledgeable about it, that the graphics on the video game part of it, when you go into the gaming part, just aren't up to snuff. They look like old school 80s stuff. Well, good, because you're supposed to learn to play guitar. So what if the graphics aren't amazing on the video game part? And he was totally fine with that. He was bummed, but he gets that it's supposed to be a learning tool. But this is where I think it lets everybody down. And this is the 2014 version of it. Apparently they just keep making more versions of this because they keep screwing up. But apparently, and I can't say this from any experience at all other than the one guy's review that I trusted the most out of what I read. If you guys know how to go in and see stuff where it says I liked something, it's one of the last couple things I actually put that I liked. I don't know how to go in and look at stuff up. I just don't care. But if you guys know how to go in and see what I have actually liked, it will be that video. So you can find that. So I can say this later. And this is another one of those questions that just like this guy, I didn't open it up and read it. Or I hadn't played the game or haven't seen it. And why Marty would honestly promote it, I don't know, unless they just cut him a check. But it does nothing for your right hand. There's nothing that teaches you any strumming patterns at all on the entire game. It just shows you what to do with your fretting hand. I found that pretty sad. You know, he said there's a lot of neat things, you know, with different loopings things, and you could slow things down, phrase, you know, like phrase trainer things and blah blah blah, and just keep going over the same part over and over and over again. And, you know, I can see where it could be okay, but to not show any strumming patterns at all, I mean, that's half of guitar, and that's, to me, that hand, the right hand, or your strumming or picking hand or whatever, is way more important than your other hand. I mean, this is where so much comes from, man. It's just people I think take their strumming hand for granted, and that supposedly has been left out of the video game or the instructional game. So let me know what you think about that, because if anybody else has played, if it is Rocksmith, I honestly don't remember the names of these things, but it's a 2014 version, and tell me if you find any strumming stuff in there, because people ask me about it, but of course I just don't get into it, so I don't know, so I'm not the person to ask, but you're welcome to ask, and I'll just say I don't know. But from what I looked up, that's what I hear, is there's just either an extreme lack of strumming hand, anything there for you at all, or any that's on there just isn't worth even having, because he said, you know, he goes through the whole game and never even uses his right hand. You know, so it's kind of strange. It doesn't matter what mode you're in or so forth. It's just, you know, he's like, look, I'm going into arcade mode now, or I'm going into this. He goes, no rhythm help at all. So that's pretty sad. I'm not looking for things to make it bad. I would hope it would work. You know, anything to make you guys' life simpler, great. But then again, I'm strong for old school crap because I'm an old guy, you know, but I think learning the thing on your own and sounding things out is always still a great thing. So, and it's nice to, when I have to learn new songs for the band I'm in, yeah, I go to YouTube if somebody has a good instructional video to find out the part, you know. It's like, I'll cheat, supposedly, and learn it from somebody else. You know, I do it too. You know, it's here. So, but if you're a beginner, I think it's just more rewarding if you sound it out. It just gets, it makes the rest of your life so much easier if you're planning on making it a career to learn this stuff on your own. But, so that's what I learned from the video game as far as from one guy's opinion. But then again, like I said, I watched quite a few videos. Most were morons, and this guy seemed to have it together. So there's that. Let's go up here to Rhett Birch, B-I-R-C-H. I have a keyboard player buddy I played with for a long time. He was 17 at the time. He was the son of our singer, Debbie Birch. I've got some Debbie Birch videos on here where I'm playing with that band, and if you just put in her name, Debbie, D-E-B-B-I-E, Birch, B-U-R-C-H. Just put in that, and Scott Grove. You can see me playing with that band, and the keyboard player was only 17 in those videos. He's been playing with everybody in Nashville for so many years now, and he always was amazing. His whole life was just plugged into the, you know, just had the headphones on, just going, and he was bound. I've seen him so many times on TV appearances with Billy Currington for the most part for the last 5 years or so, but he's played with everybody and still is. And what a great guy. He from Amarillo, Texas. He's great. You just go to let's see. I'm trying to think of my poor brain kids. Tomorrow is my MRI finally after so many false starts. So I get to go to the MRI tomorrow and then go to my neurologist tomorrow the day after to have him read the results or whatever. But moron has never called me back to say whether he would be able to read them that quick or not. I hate that guy. But anyway, so that's part of tomorrow, plus quarterly taxes tomorrow. Mark Birch is the guy's name. If you ever want to go check him out, M-A-R-K-B-U-R-C-H, not B-I-R-C-H like this guy on here. It just reminded me of him, and I'm just going off in all kinds of places because that's what my mind does, as you know. So Mark B-U-R-C-H Birch, go check him out. He's amazing. Just markbirch.com, I'm sure. Yeah, of course, loaded up with tons of sponsors. I think he's still with Yamaha, but what a talent. Okay, so Rhett Birch, spelt like the birch tree with an I. Hey, Scott. Hey, dude. I know my mind is going everywhere. I got me a new shrink today, too. So she's like, boy, you ramble. I said, I sure do. She didn't know what she was getting into. It says, from Rhett, it says, I enjoyed watching and learned a lot from your videos on advice for startup bands. Do you have any advice for a startup solo performer like me? I've done the band thing before, but now I want to go it alone with guitar, vocal, backing tracks, and I've been watching your own solo performance videos and learning much from them. Any other advice, tips, etc. you could give me? Thanks. You know, I just had to do it just my way too. As far as when I go to do a solo gig, I think you probably know, but for anybody else listening that wants to get in on doing that, it pays so much better if you just want to do that than being with a band. It's just a matter of what you want to do. You know, other personalities around you is some people's things. They love doing the band thing where there's a whole bunch of them and then they get to divide up the money at the end of the night and they all yell at each other and one hits on your wife or ends up sleeping with her and the other one's drunk and never makes it there. And there's a lot to be said for just being a solo artist and having the whole backup thing. And it goes all the way up to the pro level too, that if you want to do it as a solo guy, that if you ever have, you know, aspirations to get signed and you do get signed, well then, yeah, the record label basically picks out musicians for you and puts a band together around it, and then you get to tell them, or try to tell them, this guy isn't working out, please kick his ass out, and hopefully you get to be selective. But yeah, if you find yourself like Rhett here is, where he wants to do the solo thing for whatever reason, I personally get my backing tracks all different kinds of ways. And real quick, one, or to steal them from here on YouTube. You know, just use the YouTube downloader and just download a karaoke version. If that version doesn't, and you know, if I'm playing lead guitar with it, then either that is a problem or it's good. If the lead is already on the track, then I might make up a harmony part to play over top of it, or I will just hit my volume pedal and just drown out the sumbitch. But now I have gear here where I can actually pull each instrument out depending on where it is in the stereo field. Same with lead vocals or anything. I can just pull anything out. So you just scan the thing, and it will actually latch on to wherever anything was panned when it was mixed down, and you can actually pull the guitar out now. So I get to go back with my tracks, and you can take the actual real versions if you want, pull the vocal out, have the real harmonies going, have the real everything going, and just eliminate the part that you want to play. So there are a lot of things that will do that for you now. So I get to redo those because I would love to get those lead guitar tracks off of my tracks. Again, I'm just using my laptop, just using what is it, Windows Media Player is all I'm doing. I made a playlist, and I hit it, and it start, and it just runs through the whole show until I'm done. I never take a break, of course, but so I could go 4 to 6, 8 hours without ever taking a break or a potty break of any kind, and you don't lose a crowd that way. If you say I'm taking a break, yeah, you lose a crowd. Same as a concert. I get other ones, backing tracks from actual karaoke places, but then there are backing tracks that are all over the place that you can purchase or just get. There's some places for free, and they're all meant to be able to learn to play guitar with, so they leave the guitar part out on purpose, and you can order it with or without the lead vocal in there, and tell them which part you don't want there. So if you don't have the software to remove those parts for you, and you have no interest in paying the money to do that, then you can do it one song at a time and have that company do it for you. There's tons of companies. Just look it up, just backing track. I'll come up and put the names on here, but I've got a few of those too, and they're wonderful. And everything else I just record here. If I want a certain arrangement of something, I'll record it right here on my, it's an old Tascam 2488. You can do up to 96 tracks, but of course I just, I'll do the drums, I'll put on the bass, and then all the keyboards and rhythm guitars. Sometimes I leave the rhythm out, because if I'm going to sing, I'll be playing rhythm, or I'll just say, well, I'm going to be playing lead on this part. So, I just think it through and record every little part, and then I have to go in and put my own harmonies on there and so forth. But I just load up about, I think I've got almost 400 songs on there that I can do. I'm not saying I can do them well, but for enough money in the jar, I'll try it. So I've got a lot on there that I have no real business even doing, because I'm not a good singer. I never wanted to be. It's not my thing, but it sure does pay great. And again, no hassle. Sometimes you get lonely, but then again, the hassles of playing with other people sometimes really, really outweigh that loneliness. So I love doing the solo gigs. So if there's something I didn't answer, let me know, but that's the best way to do it. Sometimes it's cool to just grab the guitar and break it up for just a little bit, because it gets old real fast when you start doing an acoustic set. That idea has came and gone. But if you do such a thing, just to make it crowd participation things where you can maybe throw together 5 or 6 short pieces of songs that have audience participation in it, that you can just grab an acoustic or even electric, whatever, any instrument. It doesn't matter if you're going to do My Ding-a-Ling by Chuck Berry or anything that they're going to sing to. Just put together, here's some, just do your banter, and then you don't have to use any tracks for that part. You can shut it down. They can actually know that you actually play. That's the one thing I get most often. It's like, are you really even playing? It's like, I hold the guitar out and give them the pick, and they hit and go bang, 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 bang. And some people, they hear it. Some people, they're like, I didn't think you were. It's like, you can't hear. Okay. But, get tracks everywhere. They're available everywhere in any way, shape, or form. If what I've said doesn't make any sense, just write me, and I'll give you links to all those places. It's nice to make up also too, like 5 or 6 different shows, you know, just depending on if you're going into a place that has more rock than country, then, you know, pick, you know, show number 3 or whatever. Or if you know you're going to have a dinner set at the beginning for an hour or 2 before they go into something, have another show of a whole bunch of mellow tunes, Jim Croce and all that stuff, you know. But it's a beautiful thing. I love technology that's here for that. I love playing with myself. Okay, let me see what time I have on this Groovy camera. And again, I hope you guys can see me fine, and please suggest any changes that I need to make to this. I've just got 2 little lamps over here on me, and I just looked at them. I can't see crap now. The camera, it says HD on this side. It says JVC. It says, and I am so blind, I'm sorry. Pardon me while I try to just turn this around, and EVERIO. Everio? I don't know. EVERIO. It's the model of it. Anything else I got on here that I can tell you about? We got a Minolta HD lens. Is there a model number on here? There is, but my God, my eyes are so gone. Yeah, I know, quit spanking it. No. Okay. Let's get to this one. I've answered a lot, so I'll just get in and out. And sorry I don't mean to blow off this question, but it has been asked a lot, and I'm sure you'd already know. This is from Frost0813. He asked, have you ever built any of your own guitars start to finish? And if so, did you keep any of them? Would love to see it or them. Again, I've, you know, built bodies, I've put together necks and stuff, but I won't, never will build a guitar from scratch for myself. Again, I would suck so bad at doing the finish work on it that it's just not worth it to me. I would much rather just pay somebody to do it. But there's some, honestly, that are out now that I would almost do it for because I wouldn't need the finish. And I think I like these personally, but there are some that a company that will take, whether you provide it or whether you buy what they have in stock, but they'd have like old crates. You know, if you found like an old Coca-Cola crate or an old Jack Daniels wooden crate, anything that's a wooden crate, you know, that will be the top of your guitar, you know, almost like a barnwood thing, but they do it such a good job of it. So that's something that you wouldn't have to actually finish. It would look like what it is. I mean, you know, if you could have, say, Georgia peaches on it or whatever, but that's really cool, I think, and I would really like something like that, or just a very westernized telly looking thing. Of course it'd have to be a telly thing just because it just lends itself to it. Just something that has real old barbed wire or razor wire, something that's just rusted beyond belief, but hammered into the whole thing as binding, you know, to look like binding, but so I couldn't cut myself all the way around, but have actual like barnwood top on it, and the rest, it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter as far as I'm concerned. And then just have other Western things, you know, just hammered into the thing or attached to it, and just have a real, look like a, you know, a telly if it was made in the, you know, Old West days, you know, the 1880s or something. You know, so I'd like to do something like that. So maybe I don't know. It's got me thinking now though. Now that I've answered no, 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 I don't want to so many times, but I've been seeing some really interesting things other people are doing, and of course that would save money, and it might be a fun project. I don't know. So I might try that. You never know. But no, I don't have anything around to show you or anything. I did do a butcher block telly body for another guy. You know, did all the routes for everything and so forth, but didn't finish it. He just, you know, he sent me the wood and I just cut everything out how it's supposed to be, and that's it. That's all I had to do. You know, it's already pieced together, just stripes. You can get them on eBay for nothing, and just people keep asking me about what's the company that has all the bodies for sale. The next, I know you're yelling it at me right now. That place, whatever they're called, is it Warmouth? If it isn't, anybody who will sell you all these things that are on there, and then they charge you $700 or even $400 for a body that hasn't been finished. You know, it's just a hunk of wood. So here you can buy a piece of ash shaped like a telly, or you can have a alder looking Iceman body, and it's only $780, and none of the routes have been done yet or anything. They're like, what do you think of those? It's like, I think you just got your ass ripped off. I personally would never order from a company like that for anything. Except for, I can't remember, I think it might be Warmouth, but the guy who made my Lucite guitar, I'm sorry to move this out of the way, but it just happens to be right here. But he did use one of them necks, the pre-made necks from, I believe it is Warmouth. Anyway, on this guitar, and this is the one that had all this stupid nitro all over the back of it that just, I mean, you could try to play it. I was playing it, and within the first 15 minutes of playing it on stage, half the finish was in my hand. Okay, because I remember this neck being almost $500 for just the neck from there, ebony. But then I had to go on here and sand all this crap off, this nitro junk, because it was in my hand. It looked like spooge. It looked like silicone. It just horrible crap. And I don't know if it's my skin or what, but every guitar I touch that has nitro on it, the finish comes off in my hands. Yes, I have very acidic sweat, but again, that's why I'm always talking about the elixir stuff. And I'm not saying that they're better strings than anything else, because all they are is D'Addario strings, but then Gore Industries puts their coating on it. So it's not the string itself, it's just the coating process that's done right, where nobody else coats them correctly. They just coat them after the, you know, D'Addario sends them the strings and they put their coating on the strings that are already on. Everybody else, I know you're not asking this part, but then everybody else that coats strings, they coat them before they even wind them, and then all the dirt still gets between the grooves, and that's what causes strings to go dead. But anyway, my sweat, which has nothing to do with your thing either, of course I'm just going like I do, but yeah, it'll take stainless steel and just rust it. I mean, it's hard to rust stainless steel, but on my pink paisley up there, I've got so much stainless on there, and I've had to replace so many parts because, especially bridge saddles, because the corrosion just eats right through them, and it eats through saddles and everything, even though they're stainless steel. I mean, and then all of a sudden your height adjustment for your Allen wrench for the low E saddle, it always eats through there, and then that thing just falls over, so your saddle, you know, caves in, and it's like, that was stainless steel, huh? That's great. So don't even get me near some nickel stuff. That stuff will never last. Okay, so I don't know. You got me thinking, dude. After so many people ask me. Okay, I'm gonna spend some time here and just mark off this page. The majority of the next person's question is still at the top here. So who does it belong to on the next page? Let you know where we're at. I'm getting back to page 18 out of 35 pages that I have printed. Holy crap, this is a long one. But hey, that's what I'm here for. I know, that's what she said. I can't let that go. Okay, this is from one the Birdman. Okay. Oh, let me see. I'll just read it because at least he knows if it looks like he knows his shit. Hi Scott, I actually have more of a request than a question, and I don't think I'd be alone in said request. I recently watched a review on Pinky, the Strata I was just talking about, I think. It doesn't have a name, but that's what I guess what it would be. And I could actually feel the genuine affection in your voice. Yeah, that would be the guitar. That's my life right there. You know, that guitar, that pink paisley. I could feel the genuine affection in your voice of the well played and genuine relicness of that amazing Strat. So it is about my pink paisley Strat. My question is that you take it out to an upcoming Most Wanted show and play that sucker loud and proud. I need to. That guitar hasn't seen a stage in a long time. The frets are, I mean, down to the wood, but it still plays. You know, so it might be the last time it goes before I get to refret it again. It's been refretted an amazing amount of times. Not just dressed, but refretted over and over and over and over and over all these years. Let's continue with this. But yeah, I'll do that for sure. It needs to go out. It has to be crying. I know that, even though I don't believe in a higher power or whatever, that guitar's got a soul. Everything else in here is just a bunch of wood hanging, but that guitar has my heart. It has its own soul. It's the only thing that might be alive in this room that I care about. Let's see. Let's continue. God, my sciatica is acting up again. I can't wait to get rid of this. It's so hard to sit here. It says, however, I do understand it's in need of a fret job. You guys are so, God, I can't believe you guys pay attention to me at all. How do you know this? But still sounded great in the review video. But I am also sure that all of us fans would get a kick out of seeing you play The First Wife and show the proper love to the acts that took you there for so many years. My First Wife is an American, it looks like standard STDE. Oh, my STDs. So American Standard Strat from 1996 in Crimson Burst Metallic that I had customized with Graphtec saddles at Duncan JB at the bridge. And of course, it says, and that of course called for a new pickguard. So I installed a Pearloid mother of toilet seat, of course, guard, but kept the neck, the stock neck and middle pickups as they sounded great. And like Pinky, my Strat, she'll be buried with me as well. Don't you love a guitar like that, man? It's just, there's only one that's ever going to be that much to you. There's only one. It don't matter if any of the others have anything on it. There's just one that you put your soul into, and it won't come back out and it won't get into another guitar, and that's where it's going to stay. As stupid as that sounds, some of you know what I'm talking about. Let's see. Nothing beats an actual relic gained through years of gigging, as there's a story behind every scratch and ding. I could tell you some hilarious tales of playing the bar circuit of Georgia Anyway, that's my Strat. These days I'm playing bass and usually travel with a Made in Mexico Fender P-Bass and a Made in Mexico Jazz. I'm fond of all of my axes, but as you know, there can only be one number one. See, there it is again. The guy knows his stuff. It's nice when you run across these people. And it's that special bond indeed. Peace out, my brother. So, okay, so that's almost like talking to myself right there. So thanks for that. If that's somebody actually knows what it's like to be in love their entire life and pour everything you have into something that will fight you, it will do everything, it will get the best out of you, it'll get the worst out of you, it will do exactly as he said, it will be your wife. You fucking kick that thing around, you give it hell, you give it love, you give it respect, you beat somebody over the fucking head with it at the bar, it takes it and it makes you proud and it's right there when you need it. For anybody who doesn't know, I will show what he's talking about if this is your first visit to the channel. Okay, so here's that guitar that did 20 good years of road work with me. And fretboard. Ta-da! Whenever you actually start spinning guitars around or what have you, or break it over somebody's head, or whatever, you just have to hurry up and find another way to put a Strat button in there, and you don't have time to do toothpicks and all that crap on a road guitar. You know, nobody's there to be your roadie for most of us. Everything, you know, it's been totally changed on it, except for the neck and the body. The neck is actually about half the thickness as it was originally, and I just whittled that sucker down, and then God, that's if I need to get this neck just scanned, you know, computer laser done like everybody else does, who, like Eddie Van Hagar or whoever, but to get that neck, which is basically what I ended up doing with my white Iceman looking thing over there, is just the most amazing neck where it's at now. It's just, good God, there's nothing like it. And I'm loving the feel of hardly having any finish at all on the front. Just that bare wood with your blood and soul and crap in there. God, that thing's just amazing. I mean, just look at the rust on the pickups and stuff. And you can see I recently actually put new screws in for the pick guard. It probably hates that, but it's like, well, I'm just going to give it some new screws because the other ones were so horrible. It's like trying to polish a turd. You know, it's like I should have left the old corroded ones on there, but let's see if my lighting is on the wrong side for me to give you a good clear shot. Then again, I don't know what this camera will do, but of lower saddles and the funkage that's there, even though the guitar is as clean as it can get. You know, there's nothing here that can be taken off unless I was to actually hit it with a why can't I ever think of that? Sandblaster. Good God. I remember my dad dressed up as an Arab out there doing his old Mopar cars from 1932 to 34 that he makes into street rods. And he's dressed up out there with the body of it laying out there in the yard and sandblasting his old hot rods. And boy, that stuff hurts like a bitch if it ever hits you. I'm sure some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Any of you car nuts that ever have anybody who's ever sandblasted at all. Oh God, I would love to I need to do that when I go to visit Dad next time. Get me one of them Agile guitars or whatever, and just take it over there for fun and just set it on a stand and have it plugged in, cranked way up, and just hit it with a sandblaster until there's absolutely nothing left of it. Just, it wouldn't take long. Just leave it plugged in, let it make all the noise, and just sandblast the guitar until it actually disintegrates. That would be cool. I would love that video. Oh, somebody remind me to do that. I have such great ideas, don't I? But I forget them. I forget everything. I need a little... And somebody sent me one. I got to find out where it's at. Somebody... Good God. Some of you people who have sent me some great stuff. One person sent me, a thing that you could talk into, and hey, a memo. Sandblast the Agile guitar. I got to just go get that out, because I have so many of those things that I just want to do. And people still are telling me that they need their downloads, and I keep forgetting, and I'm so sorry. I'm just such a spaz, and good. And they're like, hey, remember me? I did, and they're still in my emails. I know they are, but guys, my brain is going so fast, I don't know what to do to tell you. I don't know if you care, but I honestly don't know that I'm going to remember much of anything by, like, if I'm even around in 3 to 5 years. My brain's going real fast. It's God. And not that, and this is just for my friends, and I know it's going out to my enemies too, because they watch for whatever reason. But I'm at the point, health-wise, and my doctor says it's normal, but I don't see how this is normal. But when I go take a piss, I know TMI, but so be it. Some of you guys are my friends, and this is the only way I have to talk to you. But I honestly, my vision goes away for like about 5 seconds every time I just start to pee. And it's just, dark as flipping as it being blind. And then it comes back. He says, yeah, that's just normal. You're just getting old. And that's normal. But then when I take a shower, which is not nearly as often as I take a piss. But I can actually, it's when as long as like 30 seconds. I don't know why, but it's when I lean my head back in the shower, nowhere else. I could do it in the rain and it won't do it, but if in the shower, and I'm trying to get the shampoo and conditioner out and stuff, but sometimes it hits and I'm totally blind for about 30 seconds. Weird. I don't know what it is, but he says, don't worry about it. I'm pretty fucking worried. But yeah, my brain is going, my memory is going real fast now. I can feel it, and I know everybody's throwing the funny stuff out there. Oh, you've been retarded forever, but man, when you get here, just enjoy your life while you can, dudes. Okay? Just letting you know that, yeah, it's going fast. Let's go to the next one. I'm not here to tell you about me. Here's from Doug Carey Meyer. Says, hi Scott, I have a question. Well, this is the place for it. It says, do you have any knowledge? No. No, I already see it on here, and I don't know that I'll have that. We'll find out. Scott, I have a question. Do you have any knowledge of the Eastwood guitars? Yes, I do. Not Brian Eastwood, which makes my weird. The Stratocasters are my big pink bender looking stuff. I like to whip these out any chance I can. These are the other Eastwood guitars made in the UK from Brian Eastwood. So he's not talking about these. The Eastwood guitars that he's talking about is the guitar company which make recreations or copies of old National guitars, old Ovation Breadwinners, airline guitars, all the really odd things that are just not available anymore. So they make copies of them, and they make changes, because on the old Breadwinners everything was 18 volt system on there, and now they've just got a couple knobs and a 3-way switch with regular pickups in it instead of these weird, great big, huge single coil pickups. But you could get some amazing wild sounds out of it. But he's asking about Eastwood guitars. Go check them out. I've got a plan for a couple of them actually. So I do I plan on buying one? You didn't ask that, but I do plan on buying one. See, not Brian Eastwood, but the company who makes the retro-looking guitars. Yeah. Specifically, I was interested in their electric tenor guitar. Okay. I couldn't find anything in searching your vids. I thought maybe you knew someone or somebody who owned one and what they thought. Peace. And it says Eastwood's Warren Ellis Signature Tenor Demo. RJ, it looks like Ronquillo. That's the guitar. Okay, so I'm going to circle this, Doug, and not mark it out so that I know that I have something to do. I'm not familiar, no, with that particular guitar, but the company itself, you know, we all know everybody makes great guitars and everybody can make a turd, but the company itself seems very on the up and up, so I can't imagine that they would toss out a piece of crap at all. But they seem like a very solid company, and they've been around for a while. They have a good reputation. Why the whole world doesn't have them, or why I don't even have one yet, I don't know. But I will do some digging and talk to some folks that I trust, especially like these folks. Grinning Elk. The guys over there, you can trust anything that they have to say. Who else can you say that about? Not many people, but that's one music company out of a couple, only a couple, that I can honestly say I would trust them with anything. You know, if they tell me anything, they know me well enough to know what I would like, and they'll tell me their honest opinion. So I'll go to those guys first and foremost, and they will know. So, see, you are circled. Right there you are. You are not marked out. Okay, so I'll find out something for you, my friend. Okay, we're going up to, let me see how much time I got that I want to spend. Maybe another 20 minutes or so. Let me see if, God, with that 32 gig card in here again, this is a different camera. And please, 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 somebody tell me if it looks any different, because I just don't know. I can't see. You know, I'm blind, I'm everything else, I just don't know. And I don't know how to. And again, if you have any suggestions, hey, change this. Because I noticed I was in the living room and everything looked really, everything looks fine on the screen here. But when I was in there in a different kind of light, everything was really kind of red looking, even though everything wasn't red. It's like the walls looked red, but they're not. Maybe it was just the shitty lighting. But just let me know what you think of this thing, or what I might need to adjust on it. And then I'll just actually look up for the directions, and the directions that he did send me. Again, the guy that sent me this camera is the same guy that traded or made that guitar to, or fixed up that guitar to give away to the kids, and he wants to do some more of that. And again, I gotta somehow pass off this look and let people know that there's people out there that simply want people to have good stuff, or to have something nice to play on. And I can't believe how hard it is, like I said, to give away stuff. It's weird. I guess when you look like I do, you have to just sit there and take it. I've been taking it all my life that way. So, here's Bled 500, B-L-E-D 500. Can you please? Oh, he don't have any capitals on his shift key, must be broke. I'm sorry that I'm such a stickler for spelling and punctuation and all that. I'm definitely don't speak as well as I should be, for as picky as I am, and being a spelling Nazi, everybody always calls me. I guess that's what they call everybody else. It's not just me, but I seem to take things personally way more than I should. But that's me, and you guys know it, some of you. Let me stand up while I read this, because the sciatic is killing me. This here's just about my health and the strokes. Can you please clarify what exactly is your medical diagnosis and what started the stroke? Is it inherited, injured, or just bad luck? What meds and how many times a day do you need to take them? Well, it's a good question, my friend. Hang on. Funny thing is, I had to get every single one of my records out today. My wife got them all out for me since day one. So they're all like within 10 feet of me from here. Every single MRI, everything with and without contrast, from every place in the world, every operation, everything, because my new shrink, who I started seeing today, wants all that, a copy of everything. So everything is there. Let's see. I'll just read through yours again and try to just answer the specific parts you wanted. Can you please clarify what exactly is your medical diagnosis and what started the stroke? Medical diagnosis is, Scott, you had a stroke. Welcome to that. And a couple years later, the second one was from the Mayo Clinic, which they diagnosed, and they said it appears to have been a stroke or an aneurysm. We're still looking around in there to try to find out which it is. And they simply emailed me later and says it looks like it was a minor stroke instead of the aneurysm. So that was the Mayo Clinic on the second one, which was 2 years after the first one. First one I was simply place. I actually have videos here on me playing this Virgin River Casino. My wife and I were just simply in there eating. I know we were at a table right next to the Keno, right next to the Keno lady, and I was having coconut shrimp. What she was having, I don't know, but for some reason we weren't in a booth. We were at a table, and I was sitting there and I was eating the coconut shrimp, and then it sounded like somebody, and it felt like it too. It sounded like they came right behind me and did a Abe Lincoln type of thing. I mean, it just sounded like a gunshot going off in my head, and the part where, I don't know if you guys can, but anyways, right where your neck sits on here, where every single nerve in your body is, there's a part in your neck. It's not in your neck, it's actually part of your skull, where it sits on top of your spine, and you can actually feel it there. It's the last bit of soft tissue there is before it goes into your actual skull bone. So if you reach right there, if I push in on this hard enough, I can actually force myself to just pass out. And that's where they go for my pain management, is they actually slice that area open and go in and deaden different nerves, for a few months, and then try to keep doing that. And I don't even use any anesthesia anymore. They just do it and go back in. And I've been doing it for years and trying to find something that will just shut off the pain and just get rid of that whole thing, which has been killing me for all this time, until the Butrans patch that is helping my headache. I'm sorry, I'm getting off track. But that's when it happened, and I told my wife, it's like, holy shit, what was that? And she's like, what? And I said, I don't know if I think I got shot. And then I stood up and I fell over, and I tried to walk and I couldn't walk. And then within like 2 minutes I could walk, but I was banging into everything. So I just leaned against her, and she just took me to the hospital. And many days went by, and then I laid here and for almost a year. Everything was, I got some weird point for months and months I couldn't eat anything. I mean, I was having to try to get Jello and applesauce just through a straw just to have something in me. But I mean, I don't know why. It wasn't that I would throw anything up. It's just like I couldn't even think of food, or I would just freak out. And of course, all I wanted to do was kill myself more than anything. I mean, I still have that thought every single day of my life, but not like I did. And that was my full intention. It was just, God, I have to get out of this world. It's the worst thing in the world. And I know everybody's stroke is different when they have it. But good God, this is nothing I can't say I wouldn't wish it on anybody. There's a few people I would love to wish it upon. But the stuff I've had to go through has been nuts. What started it? I don't know. I have no idea. Is it inherited? No. Injured or just bad luck? It has to be just bad luck. What meds and how many times a day do you need to take them? It has changed over the years. Currently, I don't know why, but if you want to know, I'll tell you for no problem. Currently, they have me on. Let me see if we got time. Yeah, we got plenty of time because I had to say all these today. I'm still, actually, this is weird, but I'm still on the nitro spray when I need it. Okay, it's kind of odd, but it's there. But as far as my actual everything day is the Xanax 1 milligram 3 times a day, and then you have Effexor 75 milligrams 3 times a day. It's in a capsule. Then you have, I have tons of this, the Lortabs or the hydrocodones. I was sent a thing in the mail today that says as of October 6th. And that's just to help, you know, with the pain in my flipping head that the Butrin's morphine that's being fed into me constantly for anything that's, when it's worse. I've taken 2 of those already today, the Norcos, but as of today, those have became a Schedule 2 instead of a Schedule 3, so they're going to be harder to get, but won't be no problem for me because I get to have everything that I have to have. My neurologist is good like that. I have anything I want. We went through, what do you call that stuff for the girls? They always get, Botox injections into my head to try to help with the leftover headaches as well. Been through so many things. Did the all the holistic stuff. Did the sticking needles and acupuncture stuff. Everything trying to get rid of that. Immediately after the stroke, they sent me to an ENT, or no stroke guy, and said my sphenoid sinus was completely blocked up. Why they were worried about that after I had a stroke, I don't know why, but he said, with as compacted and as thick as that is, you should be blind and should have been blind a long time ago. Said it's just like calcium deposits. I mean, there's no room left in there for anything, so, but we have to get that out, and they did. They went right in, and they said it's like right by your brain, so they found a guy in Las Vegas who took care of that, and within 2 weeks, it was exactly as compacted as it was, and they haven't once did anything else about it. I went back in. They said they want me back in 2 weeks to see how that's clearing up, because they said maybe that is lending to your pain that you're having, and maybe that'll cut off that whole suicide crap that you're talking about having every single day. Every moment, every single flippin' fucking moment of my life. It didn't do a damn thing. Like I said, within 2 weeks, it was exactly. I didn't even notice any difference because it was all shoved full of shit anyway. Yeah, when I got down there after the first week, they had it completely packed with gauze, and they were pulling this shit out, and I don't remember breathing any better. I don't even know if that was the intent, but it was they said that it was supposed to help possibly ease with that whole pain thing, but I had never had any kind of pain ever before the stroke hit, so why they went to an ENT thing and did a sphenoid sinus operation, and then after they took the gauze out and stuff and then had me back, and then they said, well, it's exactly as compacted as it was initially, and have never called again, and have no intention of fixing anything. Again, I have no clue. I wish I did. I would like to kill that sucker. He honestly seemed so concerned, but I don't. It's hard. Even my shrink today said how bad Nevada is to try to get any kind of care, because all the doctors that were any good moved out of here because they raised the taxes so high on them to be able to even have a practice in this state. It's just pathetic. See, what other meds am I on? What are those called? I'll get it for you. Hang on 2 seconds. I don't mind at all sharing this. Oh. Okay, coming back, kids. I know. I don't edit, so be it. Okay, here's the others. And then here's ones I finally got off of. I don't know if I needed to get off of them or not, but I was on these forever. Neurontin, or gabapentin, whatever you want to call it. They said that my right hemisphere would use this for the right hemisphere to talk to the left hemisphere. It's like I wasn't working on all cylinders. But my neurologist took me off of these for whatever reason. I don't ask. Oh, that's just the nitro spray here. And then, I don't know, what do you call these? The Flexeril. But I never could pronounce this. Shit, I don't know. What do you call them? See how good this camera goes in. Cyclo, whatever the hell that says. So whatever those are. But it's just a generic for Flexeril, and those are 10 milligrams, and I just take those at night. Try to get some sleep, and that just helps with some pain too. And sometimes I sleep 2 or 3 days straight, like at least 20 hours maybe, on all this crap. So I'll just leave this here instead. I'll put it down since I'm pretty much done here. But that's what I'm currently on, for anybody who cares. And I got 6 minutes on here that I'm going to do if I'm going to do a half hour or an hour and a half. So that's it. That's the current thing anyway. It's changed over the years, but that's what I'm currently on. The shrink wants to get me off the Xanax stuff. It's not used for anxiety or anything. They use so many things for so many different things. It's like it's not a anxiety and a depression stuff with the Xanax and the effects, or it's I can't remember what the hell they're used for, but you know how shit's used for different things. But that's what they gave me to keep me from doing the killing myself part. And it was amazing how quick it took over with the Xanax, how quick that whole emotion and stuff went away for me. And then the effector he actually put in as, excuse me, as a, I don't know why, but he said I have to take that much Xanax, the 1 milligram 3 to 4 times a day, and 4 milligrams a day is the legal limit on that. But he said I had to take the effector and kept increasing it. He goes, start taking as much of it as you need, but until it feels like a drug. So don't use it as a happy pill. But he goes, it's meant to cut certain side effects of the Xanax. So he goes, it just needs to equalize you out. He goes, with as much Xanax as you have to make whatever it was to equal that part of it out. Otherwise you're going to have some pretty shitty days for the rest of your life. But he said, but if we put the effector in with it, it takes off a certain, well, like I said, side effect from that, and it will kind of equal out your general mood, you know. So it's been that exact same concoction with those two since day one. Because it was going to be shotgunning, when actually it's just going to be go to sleep in the garage with the car running, and that's always my plan, and it's still my plan. So when I go, that's how it'll happen. I'm just going to go to sleep in my van. So I'll answer any question you want. Tim, looks like you'll probably get the last question of the day. It says, from Tim Fergal, or Fergal, oh groovy one. When you are on stage, and a person walks up to the stage, what type of person or action from that person just pisses you off? And what type of person or action makes you smile? God, there's been so many, and I didn't see some coming. Especially when a girl comes up and just asks you for a request. Nothing more, just comes up and hands you a napkin, and it says, you know, can you play Freebird or whatever, and then her boyfriend comes by and then takes his entire drink and smashes it against you and your guitar because he thinks you were flirting with her. I know that has nothing to do with it, but some guys are just major assholes. Okay, so the people that walk up to you, God, you can tell. It's so easy to tell what they're going to want because most people are just dumb by nature. Most people are going to ask you for something, and you could see it. If they're like 35 or under at this point in my life, if they're 35 or under, and they see that I'm wearing a cowboy hat on stage, and for the last 2 or 3 hours all we've been playing is country, and then he's going to come up and ask, you guys do some Queensryche? You know, that's going to piss you off before he even gets up there, because you know that's what's coming, or something like that. Do some Dio, man. It's like, whether we do or don't do it, we're not going to do it for the way that you know he's going to come off. The drunk girls that always want to show their boobs, them morons, you know, you guys might think they're cool. You know, of course I thought they were cool way back when, but then you realize they're just pretty much scum of the earth. Just trashed out little groovy people. You get the same shit, and again it pisses you off, and you know it's coming. And especially if it's more than one, if it's a herd, play something we can dance to. It's like you can dance to everything, man. It's like, it's all 4/4. Most of it. You know, it's like, we'll throw in a waltz occasionally, but you can dance to everything. Well, we can't dance to this, it's country. It's like, it's a 4/4 fucking beat. It's like, well, if I sang the different words, if I put the words to Moni Moni over top of this Sawyer Brown song, it's the same fucking song, but you would dance to the one if I sang Moni Moni, just so you can get a leg, get fucked, yay, titties, boing, boing. So, that, anybody that gets on stage and tries to dance or whatever, I kick them off. I mean, literally. I put my foot in their back or whatever, and I kick them the fuck off, and if they break an arm or a leg or whatever, but they're not allowed on my stage. Nobody's allowed on the stage. Unless I invite them to sing a song or something. I'm just sick of people in that respect. Drunks, it's never going to be a good thing if it's a drunk person that comes up to you. What type of person pisses you off? Yeah, just drunks, drunk people, and it's just, everybody's the same. You just end up seeing the same face, because it doesn't matter. Everybody looks the same when they're in a certain state of inebriation, and it's just, okay, it's one of those, and you can tell a mile away. What makes you smile? When somebody actually gets it and is actually listening, it doesn't have to be a musician at all, you know, because a musician would know that, yeah, you're just playing the exact same songs that the band that was there but last week played. Generally, most bands that play the circuits that we're on right now, they could leave their set list there and every band could use it. You know, it's just the way it is, and especially casinos and stuff. Everybody plays the exact same songs because everybody in the audience wants to hear the exact same songs. So, but to have somebody come up and just give you a genuine, heartfelt, I really appreciate you guys, and they don't have to tell you that you're better than anybody. I don't care if I suck or whatever, as long as they don't say it to me. You know, that's not going to make me feel good. But if they just say, you know, you guys have a different sound about you that I really like, that's different from something else, and if they point out specific things, I liked what you did somewhere, and I don't even know what it is. It could be, but if something sounded really good during Devil Went Down to Georgia, I liked your little disco-y guitar part. It just sounded different than other people do it, but it sounded right, or so anything like that, or just anybody that wants to sit and not buy you a drink, but hey, want to sit down, just yak during the break or whatever, just, it'd be cool to just hear what you have to say, just general talking. That stuff's cool. That's what makes me smile. If somebody just wants to, just have you sit over there and just yak. And I love to learn about other people, so I generally don't want to talk about myself, if you can believe it, if I get to go sit with somebody. So I just ask them all the questions. You know, it's like, what brought you here, and blah blah blah, instead of my boring same old crap, you know. So that's what makes me smile, and that's about it. If somebody, and then the other one is the moment that we all live for. Yeah, this is my time. But when I play with a band, I look for the one moment, and it might only happen once in a week, if you're playing, you know, every night or whatever. But there's a time that, no matter how good or bad or whatever the band is, there will be a point where everything comes, a zen moment, everything comes together, and you play something that just, usually your eyes are closed and you're off somewhere else, but you don't mess with whatever force is at hand. You just live for, give me 4 bars of something just cool, and then that you'll never play again, and everybody will never gel that way again, not even in that same spot. It'll never happen again. It's just, it does, it happens that one time, and then it'll happen sometime later, next month maybe, for 4 or 8 bars, hopefully more. But if you can get 4 bars out of, and a zen feeling from people, and then if somebody else actually notices it in the crowd, and just, you get something from just one person, that's, and they experience that with you, that makes me smile. So just as long as somebody heard it, and it's just, they weren't just drunk. I get real sick of being a soundtrack to bar fights, so at least with this band, usually people aren't drunk. They, play a lot of, Mormon joints, so, usually alcohol is not acceptable. So some places, when people are sober, you get a lot more smiling moments. And even though I'm not a real fan of kids or anything else, but sometimes they do just make you smile. They pull something. They'll be dancing or whatever, and our bass player will be over there teaching, showing a move, and the kid will dance right with him. And sometimes you have that Grinch moment, where your heart grows 10 sizes. And then the kid does something else, like trips over your chords, and then you get pissed again. So, but anyway, I'm done for today, kids, and I'm gonna go get some sleep. I got a lot to do. Again, taxes tomorrow and MRI tomorrow. Then back to another doctor the day after, to the neurologist. So that's what I have on my thing for the 2 days. And again, thanks to my friend for this camera. And again, let me know if it looks any better, or again, you guys that know about cameras, if it's set to look decent at the moment, or if I need to change it. Okay, so I'll be back as soon as I can to continue on, and until that time, you guys be groovy, and I hope not many of you turn on your cars with your garage doors down. Again, just welcome to my world, and thanks for being a part of it. I do appreciate it. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.